Zach Reynolds alongside Luke Hamilton and Oilers head coach Rob Murray for this week's edition of the Virtual Coaches Show. Have 3 games this week, a 3-3, with the final game being at home, and then Saturday and Friday both being on the road at Independence. But we'll start off looking back at last week, a 2-game week that was intended to be a 3-game week, but with the postponement, just playing the Thunder twice and not seeing Kansas City, who we'll see this upcoming weekend. But split the series, got a win on Friday. Unable to get the points on Saturday, but against the top team in the Western Conference, it's got to be good to be able to come away with points, especially with an effort that looked very, very good. It seemed like both goals that they had on Saturday night both kind of came off of odd bounces, and with the chance, on Friday night, with so many chances on Friday night, being able to finally be resilient and come back despite, so many times it seems you've outshot the opponent. Been able to come away and weather the storm, but on Friday night, able to come back and then get the overtime winner.
Well, Saturday night, I'm still not sure how that first goal went in. I mean, I've got a pretty good idea that Cronulla he shot it wide, high and wide, and I think everybody in the building was following the puck that should have gone around the wall. And it hit a stanchion, and like I said, I was, as with everybody watching, thinking that it was going to get rimmed around and probably get out to the neutral zone. And then next thing I know, it's in the net. So I still don't know how it actually, whether it went off of Willie. I don't think he said it did, but regardless of that, it hit a stanchion. And one of the things that we preach here is, and it's not just our building, it's multiple buildings. Like, hockey arenas went to the seamless glass years ago, but then there was too many injuries, so now they've gone back to the stanchion glass. And you put the puck up on the glass, there's a good chance it's coming back at you. So you can never let your guard down. And the second goal, it was it wasn't a bad bounce. It was just a planned play, really. I think more than anything. I mean, you figure Stewart scored the goal. It's a defenseman getting up on the play, so obviously there was a plan behind it. Regardless of that, getting back to what you said, I like the way that we played. I was very disappointed in not winning on Saturday night because we didn't win, and I thought that we had the better team, and that's what was disappointing to me. And I think that Friday night, we played an excellent game, 49 shots. And Saturday night, we had those opportunities that we either shot wide or high or didn't find our way. But that bounce, it's one of those things. It's just like you can't plan on it yet. That's something you have to expect. It's not going to happen every time, but that was as goofy a bounce as I've ever seen. And that's where I say, we preach to our defensemen leaving the zone. You don't put the puck up on the glass, and it's not just the BOK Center. It's every rink we play in. So, I was happy with Friday night. I wasn't disappointed with the effort and that we got on Saturday night, but I was really bummed that we didn't win. And I just felt that it was an opportunity to get another 2 points that we kind of let slip by.
And sort of to build off of the effort Friday and Saturday, something we talked a little bit about before those games was trying to get back to that physical part of the game, especially below the dots, and create opportunities that way. And we talked to you a little bit, on Saturday after that Friday game. You felt like your team got back to that a little bit, especially in that middle frame. On Friday it was a period where you outshot the opponent 23-4. Do you think that overall on the weekend you really found your team getting back to that part of the game and really being able to create a lot of chances that way? Because, like you said, the effort was there against Wichita, and it was just taking advantage of the opportunities at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think the opportunities that we had, we still, it took us overtime to win the game. It it kind of goes back to where we've been talking all season. You know, we have, as a team, we have a hard time scoring, and you know, we are defending very well. I mean, not only are we out shooting teams, we are limiting teams to 20, 21, 22, 3 shots a night. So, you know, we're in the ballpark as far as where the stats line up, yet we're still kicking at like 2.2 goals a game. And you know, that average is not going to change quickly because it's all calculated within the 26 games we've played or whatever. But we've kind of, the last 2 days here in practice, got back to a little bit of a mindset about getting to the net. And I think one of the things that we missed on maybe Saturday night more than Friday night was there was opportunity to drive the net. And it goes back to hockey basics. Like, you know, you got to get to the net. And there's a few times in the game where there was rebounds or loose pucks, but we tended to go to the net first, but then, you know, do a flyby. Whereas you go to the net, you throw on the brakes, you know, you stay and you find that loose puck that might be available. And we got away from that a little bit. What I've you know, come to realize that it's that we can't think we're fancy, and we can't think that we're going to make these fancy plays. We got to get back to our basics, and not our basics, hockey basics of getting pucks to the net and bodies to the net. And so we've really concentrated on that in the last 2 days in practice. We'll do it again tomorrow on Thursday and get prepared for the weekend. But you know, it's got to be this onus on getting to the net. And one of the things that when you're not scoring goals, just like a power play, like when you're not scoring on the power play, you just got to start shooting the puck. When you're not scoring goals 5-on-5, you got to get to the net and get pucks to the net. It's simple as that. And it takes hard work and it takes effort, yet that's what we're going to have to demand moving forward here until we start getting some, you know, filling the net on occasion, which, you know, we just haven't done enough. And it's been our Achilles heel this season is our inability to score, or at least score on a regular basis. And, you know, we're losing these goal games 2-1 where we're had the opportunity to win games 4-1 or 4-2. And so that's kind of getting back to what I said about Saturday night. I just mad we didn't win the game. And regardless of what the effort was, whatever the shot totals were, you know, that's something that we just got to get back to our basics, or back to the basics and start playing more north-south game.
Talking about crashing the net, getting to the net, and Brent Gates, the opening goal of the weekend, you know, a result of him heading toward the net and getting to tip that by. He and Taylor picked up a trio of goals over the weekend. And with that, do you feel that they are kind of coming together and gaining a bit of chemistry? Obviously, Gates is out of the lineup when the team was in Rapid City, but now it seems in the last 2 games, you know, the two of them have combined for 3 goals.
Well, I mean, that's the secondary scoring we've talked about, and we need it because your top guys are going to get their points. I mean, at the end of the day, end of the season, you're going to see that Danny Moynihan's got 50 points or whatever. That's what is expected out of Danny Moynihan. Yet Wednesday, Friday in Rapid City, that line lights it up. They don't score on Saturday night in Rapid City, and they haven't had a point since. The Friday, Saturday against Wichita, our top line, Samper, Moynihan, and Pleshkash, have not figured in the scoring. So you need that secondary scoring. Now, there's a good example of going to the net and staying at the net. Brent Gates goes to the net, is basically standing not in the crease, but just outside the crease. And then the pass comes from the base of the goal line, Taylor, and it goes off Gates' foot. And those are the ones that we need score more of. And, his second goal was highlight reel that night. Taylor scoring on the first period on Saturday night, like, it was a nice goal. But again, it's the secondary scoring that we've been lacking, along with our overall scoring, that we need to kind of start being evident out there every night.
Yeah, I think that's something that, me and Zack certainly noticed, is kind of forcing and getting that second chance has been the key in creating some more depth scoring. And you're right, it's sort of, putting yourself in the right spot to be able to finish on a second chance. And looking more to the back end now for some of the guys this weekend. We saw Bove come back into the lineup this weekend, and it just seemed like he really was working hard on each shift. And, talking to that to him, and sort of, finding the right mesh for players each and every night. Some of these guys like Bove, it just looked like he was really trying to earn his ice time out there. And what did you see from him? As well as Jenkins coming back into the lineup this weekend to help what's been a really good defensive effort from this team this year.
I think both of them came back, and I mean, they played well enough. I think Bove, that's no mystery. He's going to give you everything he's got every night, and we saw that from day one in training camp. Jenkins, I think it's going to take him, coming off the COVID list, and then being a healthy scratch for a bit. Maybe unfair to him, he hasn't played in a while, so his game's going to have to get rounded out. But like, it goes back to what I said earlier. Like, we're defending fine, and we're finding a way to, be it block shots, good goaltending, limiting offensive opportunities from the other team. Our penalty kill's been excellent. Defending right now is not an issue in my mind. It's more on the other side of producing more opportunities, and on those opportunities, cashing in.
Vincent Marlowe, the newest addition to your cupboard of players that you can choose from. What have you seen from him in the last couple of days? Have you got to see him on the ice here as of late? And with that as well, you alluded to when you brought Corey Ward and bringing a right-handed centerman in the lineup, and things really changed when you did that. With Marlowe, he's another right-handed centerman. What is it that really changes that you can explain for people, between the difference of a left-handed and right-handed centerman?
Well, you would expect that it's more about face-offs, but I mean that does factor into the equation. It's where a centerman distributes the puck. Like, if you're a lefty, you're going to your right side the majority of the time. If you're a righty, you're going to your left side. It's just that's because you're playing the puck on your forehand. So again, it gives us a little bit more flexibility up the middle to be a little bit not maybe as predictable. And Vincent's looked very good in practice. I didn't throw him right into the fire there over the weekend, knowing what I know now from the experience of this season of bringing guys in and then just throwing them in the lineup. They're not ready, and it takes a little bit. And whether he'll be ready this weekend or not, I mean, time will tell. But it gives them a chance to get a whole week of practice in prior to the game on Friday. Now, I haven't made a decision on what the lineup will look like, but he has looked really good in practice. And I think that I have to be a little bit precautionary with that, because there's a couple of guys that are no longer here this season already that I thought looked really good in practice and looked really good in training camp, that when it was all said and done, and I'm not pointing at Vincent saying this is what's going to happen, but I'm taking a little bit more of a cautious approach, not to really get over thrilled with him yet. And but he's definitely shown a skill set that we need. He skates very well for a big guy, and he's fitting in really well right now.
And with him, is there anybody as far as personnel goes that you feel like you'd really fit well with on this team? A lot of these guys here in this lineup have been very flexible and have shown, to you that they can play in different roles. And You look at a guy like Matt Lane, he's able to play on the wing and at center, and you talked about getting him started up and getting going offensively. Do you think Marlowe's a guy that you can really be flexible with in finding a role, regardless of where that may be as it fluctuates as you get started?
Well, he is a he's got the ability to play the right wing too, and he's played both center and wing through his junior career. So we've got the flexibility with him also, where he could be shifted from middle to the wing very easily. And I haven't even had the conversation with him where maybe I have, where he feels more comfortable. But that being said, he can play center and he'll be fine on the wing too. Whereas, sometimes it just doesn't go hand in hand. So he'll be flexible also, along with a lot of the guys in the lineup. Like with Vincent coming into practice this week, I've actually got Lane back on the wing, just to kind of get my eyes on Vincent as a centerman and just see where he fits in.
Looking ahead to Kansas City this weekend, as we mentioned at the top, 2 games there and Independence, a game here against the Mavericks, a team that is, top end heavy scoring. Now they've lost some of those guys, to AHL call-ups as of late, but other thing they do very well, and we've seen them almost claw their way back into games before with is the man advantage. Obviously, the penalty kill always a very important part of your game and something you always drill into the guys no matter who you're playing, but is there maybe more of a concerted effort toward it in a week where, a team is putting like a third of their goals, at times on the man advantage?
Well, yeah, we have to be aware of that. That comes with discipline too. We got to stay out of the box. A couple of penalties we took over the weekend against Wichita, which they really didn't get much, if anything, off their power play yet. We took a late penalty on Friday there, really a needless penalty by McNulty. Early in the game, again, McNulty, like a needless penalty coming through the neutral zone with a slash. So those are the type of penalties that we cannot afford to take against Kansas City. And when I'm in my thought process is, you take a penalty to save a goal. It should be right in front of the net. Should be maybe take a guy down on a breakaway, whatever. But when you take a penalty, especially in the defensive zone, that's got to be to save a goal. Now, I have no problem with aggressive penalties. If you get a boarding call, or obviously not a 5-minute major, but if you're playing a heavy game and you get called for a hit or a interference or something where you're playing the right way, whereas like McNulty behind the play just hogties the guy and throws him down the ice with 8 minutes to go in the game, and we're down by a goal, it's unacceptable. You can't. That's the stuff we got to stay away from. And the hooks and holds coming through the neutral zone, one, you can't get away with it anymore, and two, the refs are looking for it. So you're making it too easy on the referees. I think I've said that before. Like, you cannot make it easy on the ref to make a play or make a call. So going back to what you said about Kansas City's power play, yes, we've got to do a good job killing penalties. 2, we've got to limit our situations where we are shorthanded.
And you look at Kansas City this week, they've got a heavy slate. Of course, they play tonight, and then by Sunday, that'll be their 4th game in 6 days. And, similar to what we saw earlier this year, 4 games in 5 days that the Oilers played, you can wear on you. And sort of getting a full lens of a perspective of a week for a team, a lot of fans will look game to game, but how important is it to get to that physical game early on, especially once it starts up Friday, to wear down a team? It's one of the least penalized teams in the Western Conference too. Do you think that can be a part of the game that can get you on the power play a little bit more, especially when a team's worn down? I know, have experience with it. It can get tough to sometimes stay disciplined when another team's wearing you down.
Well, it pays dividends from the first period on in the weekend. We can't wait until Saturday, second period, to decide to play a physical game and start wearing them down. Like, that's got to start right off the hop on Friday and go to work right away. As far as our power play right now, I would prefer not to get power plays. We are basically inept on our power play. So I made a joke to Kyle, Luke, and our Lacoon on Saturday night. About halfway through the second period, I said, "Hey, Kyle," I said, "how about a power play? We've been working on it all week here, you know." And I knew at that point maybe I jinxed myself. I shouldn't have said that. We got a power play, and we had multiple power plays. I mean, even at the end of the game, you know, which probably led to my disappointment was, you know, we got a minute 45 basically by the time I got the goalie pulled. Minute 45 on a 6-on-4, and I don't know that we really had a really good look at the net. I mean, Plushcash had a jam play, but other than that, our power play let us down, and it's been letting us down. I mean, we gotta be better, and you know, I can joke about it not wanting power plays. Obviously, I do. Yet, you know, that part of our game, getting back to what we're talking about, just scoring and production. I mean, that's a layup. I mean, we got to, you know, you got to start getting your 1-for-4s and 1-for-5s every night, and start being a little more consistent. Now, in saying that, I think our power play has looked good, yet we're not getting production. And end of the day, that's what it comes down to.
Ahead, kind of piggybacking off what Luke said with, you know, them having a heavy slate. Is it maybe a minor advantage to play that last game of the week at home for a couple of reasons? You know, you have the home, you know, ice advantage, sleeping in your own bed, but also, especially with the roster being a little bit more balanced between the forwards and defensive numbers now, you have the option of picking any of your players instead of, say, if you're on a 3-and-3 weekend somewhere, you know, you're limited to who you've brought with you.
Well, I mean, still Friday, Saturday, we'll only be able to carry one extra guy. Now, in saying that, if need be, if we were to get a couple injuries on Friday night or what have you, you know, we could always get guys to jump in the car and drive up to Kansas City. So, you know, there is opportunity there to mix and match, keep guys fresh. Because I think, you know, we have the luxury right now of having extra bodies, and so we'll see. I mean, it is dependent on, you know, the play of individuals. I mean, you got to earn your ice time. So we'll see how the weekend plays out. But you know, as of right now, I'd love to roll with the same lineup every night, and that means we're winning. So hopefully that's how the weekend plays out. And then the other thing too, Zach, is that we got nothing to save it for. I mean, we are 10 days off after this weekend, which is, I still don't understand how that got worked into our schedule, but you know, we got a 10-day break coming off of Sunday, and what we're going to do with those 10 days, I still haven't figured out, but you know, because I know in the past, in better years, let's put it that way, I would have told these guys, here's 5 days off, get out of town, like go somewhere, like relax, like just get away from the game. We don't have that ability this year. You know, we're not allowed to leave our home territory. So, you know, what we've got available to us is practice time, and which is good, yet that 10 days worth is going to get old real quick. So we'll see how after this weekend, how everything plays out. But regardless of that, we're focusing on this weekend, and we have to have that mindset that there is nothing to save it for come off the weekend.
Is there anything, you know, you mentioned that you liked a lot of what you saw on Friday and Saturday at times against Wichita. Is there anything that you saw that you would really like to be carried over to this weekend that jumps off the page to you, that, you know, maybe that you saw either both nights or one of the two nights that, you know, you would feel very confident in the way the team is playing if you saw that once again here this weekend?
Well, you know, in contrast, I think Friday night we didn't come out very strong on in the first period. Saturday night we did. And then, I think that's got to be a commonplace. Like, we got to make sure that we get off to a good start. Now, getting off to a good start doesn't mean scoring 3 goals in the first period, which would be wonderful. Yet we've got to make sure that we get off to a good start where we're getting into a rhythm, and we get our legs going, and we get, some passion into our game, where it took us until the second period on Friday night to find that. And we don't have time. We don't have that. The other team's not going to wait for us. You know what I mean? Like, they're out there to win a game too. So we got to make sure that come Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, that we're ready to go. We're on our toes right off the hop and get going.
Well, if you don't have anything to add for us, I think we don't have anything for you. So thanks as always for taking the time to do this, and we'll catch up with you again on Friday before Independence.
All right. Appreciate it, guys. Take care.